What if the thing no one warned you about was the very thing that made you question your power? What if your voice literally started changing and you had no idea why? And what if the miracle meds everyone's talking about for weight loss came with risks no one's posting about on social media? Well, in today's powerful double feature episode of the Mr. Menopause Show, you'll hear real stories, evidence backed insights, and bold truths about the hidden ways menopause reshapes a woman's body and her identity. From the silent toll of GLP-1 weight loss drugs to the unexpected emotional shift of losing your vocal strength, this episode delivers what your doctor didn't and what your timeline won't. Because this isn't just about surviving menopause, it's about rising through it, stronger, smarter, and finally heard. And now, here's your host, the certified menopause and healthy aging strategist, educator, and guide thousands of women are turning to for answers. Please welcome Mr. Menopause himself, Tafik Akhir.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Tafik Akhir, Mr. Menopause here, and welcome to the Mr. Menopause Show, broadcasting on Bold Brave TV. Now, today we're going to just dive right in because what we are talking about today is one of the most heated, hyped, and frankly misunderstood trends in women's health right now, and that is weight loss. Okay, let me set the stage for you. You're in midlife. You haven't changed what you eat. You're still moving your body, right? And you're doing what most people think is what you're supposed to do. That's right. And yet your waistline is expanding. Your energy is tanking. Your reflection feels unfamiliar. And no matter what you try, your body is just not responding. You go to your doctor hoping for answers, and they offer little more than a shrug, or worse, they say that tired old phrase, just eat less and move more. And at that moment, you don't just feel dismissed, you feel invisible, like you're screaming out loud and no one is listening. But here's what's really happening. You're not lazy. You're not overeating, and also you're not imagining things. You are experiencing a hormonal chaos because of menopause. And then out of nowhere, you hear about this so-called miracle shot, right? A weekly injection that, according to the headlines, melts the weight right off. Celebrities are using it, influencers are swearing by it, and women at the gym are whispering about it in locker rooms. And then suddenly, GLP-1 weight loss drugs are everywhere. You've definitely heard the names: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and yes, Saxenda. Some call them life-changing and others call them overrated. But for many, they're just a complete mystery. So today I am cutting through the noise and I'm breaking it all down. What are these drugs? How do they actually work? And most importantly, how do they fit into the complex, confusing, and often dismissed reality of menopause? Now, let me be clear though from the very jump. I am not here to promote these medications, but I'm not here to bash them either. I'm here to educate, because when it comes to menopause, quick fixes won't cut it, and oversimplified answers, well, they can do more harm than good. So, in this episode, we are unpacking the good, the bad, and the ugly of GLP-1s, from the benefits and breakthroughs to the blind spots and bold claims. And I promise you this, though, by the end of this episode, you'll walk away with more clarity, more confidence, and more insight than most people, even some providers, have on the topic. So grab your tea, grab your notebook, or just lean in, because the Mr. Menopause Show is about more than menopause. It's about empowerment, evidence, and understanding your body in a whole new way. So let's start with the good. And that's why GLP-1s are so tempting and transformative. And well, the point that where most conversations start about these drugs are the results, right? It's the excitement, the testimonials that make you pause mid-scroll and whisper to yourself, should I try this or not? Because when you're in menopause and your body feels like it's been hijacked and nothing that you try is working and you're just exhausted and you just want to feel normal again, right? Well, GLP-1s, well, they sound like the answer to your silent prayers, right? And let's be real. Menopause weight gain, well, it hits differently. And this isn't just about skipping workouts or indulging in desserts. It's about your body shifting on a level that has nothing to do with willpower. Your hormones are riding on an unpredictable roller coaster, up one minute, down the next, derailing your metabolism, inflaming your joints and making your cravings feel like an uninvited guest that you just can't get rid of. Now, you may feel defeated. You may feel ignored. You may feel like you're losing control of your body that you used to know. And then suddenly, someone whispers two words: Ozempic, Wegovy, right? And you start hearing stories: women losing 20, 30, 50 pounds, clothes they gave up on years ago, suddenly sliding on with ease, energy coming back, confidence returning, hope reawakening. And guess what? Those stories matter because when you've been gaslit by doctors, ignored by the wellness industry, and shamed by mainstream fitness culture, well, those wins can feel revolutionary. Now, let's talk science for a moment, though, because LGB1s, they actually mimic a hormone in your body that is already made called glucagon like peptide 1. It helps regulate blood sugar, slows down digestion, and sends signals of satiety to your brain that you're full. And the result is reduced hunger, fewer cravings, and improved insulin response. And in menopause, where insulin resistance is rising and cortisol is storing fat like it's preparing for winter, well, this combination can feel like a total metabolic reset. And listen, the results are real. In clinical trials, semaglutide, which is the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy, led to up to 16% of weight loss in non-diabetic individuals. Tirzepatide, which is found in Mounjaro and Zepbound, well, it hit even harder, up to 25% weight loss. That's bariatric surgery level impacts, and that's without the surgery, right? But it's not just about the numbers. It's about what those numbers represent. One woman said, I didn't realize how much space my weight was taking up in my head. And now I feel like I can finally live and breathe again. Another said, this was the first time in over a decade that I woke up and didn't feel like my body was betraying me. And as someone who has coached women for over 2 decades, I can tell you that feeling of finally feeling seen, finally feeling relief, well, for women who are experiencing it, is powerful. And GLP-1 weight loss drugs offer many women their first win in years, especially those who've been quietly battling PCOS, insulin resistance, prediabetes, or metabolic syndrome for most of their adult lives, but have also been dismissed through that life as well. So yes, there's real good here. There's real tangible, valid good. But here's the thing: weight loss is a result, not a solution. And what do you do with that result? Well, that's where true wellness begins. Because success in menopause isn't about shrinking your body, it's about strengthening your life physically, mentally, and emotionally, because that's how menopause impacts. So, coming up, we're going to really talk about the risks, the reality, and the reasons that you need a strategy, even if you do use GLP 1s. Because this journey isn't just about what you lose, it's about what you're building next. And that is where the magic really happens. So now we've explored why GLP 1s are appealing. Now let's talk about the part that rarely makes it into the social media captions, and that's the bad. Those are the drawbacks, the risks, and the realities. Because as hopeful as these medications are, hope without a full picture can lead to disappointment, frustration, and worse, harm. Let's be real. LGP1s weren't created for weight loss. These drugs were originally designed to treat type 2 diabetes, not menopause related metabolic changes. And yes, the weight loss was a side effect. And yes, some versions like Wegovy and Zepbound have since been FDA approved for chronic weight management. But here's the key: menopause is not obesity. It's a biological transition that brings a hormonal complex shift. Estrogen drops, cortisol climbs, insulin response changes, your sleep patterns shift, your muscle declines. Your body is adapting to any of those underlying factors. They suppress your appetite, yes. They help regulate blood sugar, yes. But they don't balance your hormones. They don't rebuild muscle. They don't improve bone density. They don't restore libido or lift your mood or help you sleep through the night. And for midlife women who are trying to understand why their bodies feel foreign, this all matters because you're not looking for a temporary fix here. You are looking for a long term transformation. Now, we talked the good and the bad. Now it's the ugly. And those are the symptoms. Many women experience some gastrointestinal discomfort when they start: nausea, constipation or diarrhea, vomiting, loss of appetite. And for some, it goes beyond the stomach: fatigue, dizziness, headaches, hair thinning, even something that's called Ozempic face. And that's that hollowed, aged look from rapid fat loss and fluid loss. Now, none of this is guaranteed, of course. Some women tolerate these meds beautifully, and others have to stop after a few weeks. Now, one woman I spoke with said the nausea was relentless. She wasn't eating, and not because she felt in control, but because she felt sick. She said that she didn't feel empowered, she felt miserable. Another shared that she lost the weight, but she also lost her energy, her muscle, and her husband said she also lost her spark and her vitality. She didn't even realize how much vitality she lost or how much she would miss it until it was gone. And then that brings us to something that I consider the most biggest concern, which is muscle loss. Look, this one deserves a spotlight because GLP-1s don't discriminate. When you lose weight fast, you're not just shedding fat, you're also losing lean muscle. And unless you're actively working to preserve it with strength training and protein focused nutrition, well, this is especially problematic for women in menopause because you're already at risk for sarcopenia, and that is age related muscle decline. And muscle isn't just about tone or strength, by the way. It's metabolic balance, it's blood sugar control, it's bone protection, right? And when you lose muscle, your resting metabolism slows down, your risk for fractures increase, and your body composition changes, even if the scale looks the same. Now, if you don't protect your muscle during GLP-1 use, you can find yourself smaller, but also weaker, softer, and more vulnerable long term. And then what happens when you stop? That's the conversation far too few people are having. See, GLP-1s aren't a cure, they're a maintenance tool. And when you stop the injections without a supportive strategy in place, like fitness, hormone aware nutrition, stress management, and sleep regulation, well, weight regain is common. And sometimes it returns faster than it left. Not because you failed, but because the foundation was never built. So, here is the takeaway from this part of the journey. GLP-1s may deliver rapid results, but without a plan, you're going to be right back where you started, right? Or worse, feeling depleted, discouraged, and still confused about what your body actually needs. And look, I'm not sharing this with you to scare you. I'm sharing this because you deserve the full picture, not hype, not shame, not silence. You deserve to make decisions from a place of power, not pressure. Now, after this break, we are going to take a deeper dive into the top 5 LGP1s that you've been hearing about: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Saxenda. What are the differences? What do you need to ask your provider before starting? And what does the science actually say? Well, I'm Mr. Menopause, Tafik Akir, and you are watching the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV. Now, stay with me because you're going to want to hear what's coming up next. Hey, it's Tafik Akir, Mr. Menopause, and I want to make sure that you don't miss next week's episode of the Mr. Menopause Show because I am diving into something that every woman in midlife needs to hear, and those are the 5 mistakes not to make during menopause. Mistakes like ignoring your symptoms because your doctor told you it's just aging, or relying on quick fixes without understanding what your body actually needs, or following outdated advice that doesn't work for a hormonally shifting body, or believing that weight gain, mood swings, and exhaustion are just part of the deal. And putting yourself last when now is the time that you need the most support. Now, if you're doing all the quote unquote right things but still not feeling right, well, this episode will be your blueprint for doing things differently. And to make sure that you've got the tools to back it up, well, I'm also taking you back into the classroom for a powerful Nutrition 101 for Menopause masterclass. We're talking real talk about micronutrients, how they impact your energy, your sleep, your weight, and your hormones, and how to use food as a form of support, not stress. So don't miss it. Catch a brand new episode of the Mr. Menopause Show Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern, broadcasting on Bold Brave TV. Because menopause shouldn't be a mystery, it should be a strategy. Now, back to the show. Welcome back. It's Tafika Kier, Mr. Menopause, and you're watching the Mr. Menopause Show broadcasting on Bold Brave TV. Now, in the last segment, we unpacked the good, the bad, and the ugly behind the growing trend of GLP-1 weight loss drugs and how they intersect with the menopause journey. And now we're going even deeper because when it comes to your health, details matter. Now, you've heard the names Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and yes, Saxenda. But what do they actually do? How are they different? Which ones are approved for weight loss and which ones are not? And what should you ask your provider before saying yes to anyone? So any of them rather. So let's break it down clearly and with insight for every midlife woman because you deserve this. Now let's start with the one that blew up online, right? And that's Ozempic. Ozempic is a once weekly injection that contains semaglutide, a medication that mimics the hormone your body naturally produces. Now, the hormone helps with blood sugar control, slows down how quickly your stomach empties after eating, and tells your brain, I'm full. Right? Now, originally, this was approved for type 2 diabetes. Ozempic is now being widely prescribed off-label, and that means that it's being used for something that it was not originally approved for, which in this case specifically is for weight loss. And for a lot of women in midlife dealing with hormonal weight gain, insulin resistance, or conditions like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, well, it becomes a popular option. But let's pause there. Insulin resistance means your body isn't using insulin effectively, so it stores more fat, especially around the belly, and it makes it harder to lose weight. Now, this becomes more common in menopause due to hormonal shifts. In fact, Dr. Catherine Saunders, a obesity medicine specialist, well, she says that Ozempic can be effective, but it must be paired with education, lifestyle change, and a long-term plan. And without that, weight regain is very common. A woman also messaged me stating that I finally lost 30 pounds, but the side effects hit hard. And once I stopped, the weight crept back. And the side effects, like I mentioned earlier, can include nausea, fatigue, and a deep loss of appetite that can leave you undernourished if you're not carefully managing things. Now, here's an important point. Ozempic can help suppress your appetite, but it won't rebuild your muscle, rebalance your hormones, or protect your bone health, which are all critical during midlife and menopause and postmenopause especially. So the takeaway here is that if your doctor suggests Ozempic, ask, will we be tracking my muscle, my hormone balance, and energy, and not just the number on the scale? Because without support, the win might not feel like a win for long. Now, let's talk about Wegovy. It's made from the same medication as semaglutide, but in higher doses. And this one is FDA approved specifically for weight loss, designed for people with obesity or those who are overweight and have conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or even sleep apnea. Now, in clinical trials, folks lost an average of 15% of their body weight, and about a third lost 20%. And that's serious weight reduction. And for many women who've been fighting their bodies for years, this feels like a breakthrough. But here's the catch. Wegovy is powerful, but without strength training or hormone-aware nutrition, well, it can pull weight from everywhere, including muscle mass, not just fat. And let's define that, right? Muscle mass is not about looking muscular and toned and big. It's about your metabolic engine, your balance, your protection against falls. And look, it's the reason why you feel strong and steady. And during menopause, you will naturally begin to lose it, something that's called sarcopenia. And that just means age-related muscle loss. But when you lose too much too quickly, it affects everything: strength, stamina, even brain function. Dr. Rekha Kumar, another obesity expert, says that weight loss alone is not success. Protecting strength, mood, and overall vitality matters even more. Now, Wegovy can be life-changing, but only when it's part of a larger strategy, because if not, It may leave you lighter, but not healthier. So the takeaway here is ask your provider to measure your body composition, not just your weight. You want to lose fat, not muscle, and you want to feel alive, not just smaller. Now we're going to dive into Mounjaro, and this one uses trizepatide, which activates two hormone systems instead of one, GLP-1 and GIP. That dual action can lead to stronger appetite control and better sugar support. Now, it's currently FDA approved for type 2 diabetes, but many doctors are prescribing it off-label for weight loss. Now, in major studies, people lost up to 22.5% of their total body weight. That's a pretty high result, high like Wegovy and even Saxenda as well. But again, fast isn't always better. Rapid weight loss can feel thrilling, but for midlife women, that speed can come at a loss of energy, emotional stability, and resilience. I even heard a woman say, I lost 40 pounds in 4 months, but I also lost my energy, my libido disappeared, and my face looked tired and hollow. And it makes sense, right? Because when you lose weight too fast, your body's going to pull it from everywhere: muscle, hydration, and even essential fats that cushion the skin and support your hormones. Dr. Scott Kahan says that these are powerful tools, but without guidance and recovery strategies, people end up smaller, but also weaker. And that's not what you want, right? And the takeaway here is before starting Mounjaro, how are you protecting your energy, your hormones, and your muscles? If your doctor doesn't have a full answer for you, you need to find a doctor who does. Now is Zepbound. Now this is trizepatide again, same as Mounjaro, but this one's FDA approved specifically for weight loss. That approval came in late 2023 and hit the market with a bang. In clinical trials, people lost up to 25% of their body weight. And again, approaching results seen in bariatric surgery without the surgery. But let's slow down there because Zepbound is strong. And midlife bodies are more vulnerable. So you're already navigating estrogen loss, bone thinning, slower digestion, and disrupted sleep. So rapid weight loss can worsen those shifts if not closely supported or monitored. Like other LGP-1s, Zepbound carries a box warning for thyroid tumors in animal studies. It's rare, but women with a history of thyroid conditions should absolutely bring that up to your provider. You might lose weight fast. You may also lose energy, libido, hydration, focus, or sleep if you're not supplementing what your body needs. The takeaway here: ask for a menopause specific support plan if you're starting Zepbound. And that means strength training, nutritional therapy, emotional support, and hormone monitoring. This isn't just about shrinking, it's about thriving. And finally, Saxenda, the first GLP-1 medication approved for weight loss back in 2024. It uses liraglutide, and unlike the others, it's a daily injection, not a weekly. Now, it doesn't, produce results as dramatic as the newer drugs. It's more like 5 to 10% of weight over time, but for many women in menopause, slower is safer and more sustainable. In one trial, 63% of participants lost at least 5%, and then another lost up to 10% over additional time. Now, what's really good here for you to know and what to understand, especially about these side effects, is that they're milder, making it a gentler option, especially for women who are sensitive to medication or who just don't want the dramatic shifts that happen with those other medications. Now, here's what really matters though. Slower weight loss often leads to better retention of muscle, steadier mood, and fewer rebound issues, and it gives your body time to adapt. Saxenda also carries the same tumor thyroid warning, and there are potential risks like gallbladder disease, pancreatitis, and elevated heart rate, but these are rare and usually manageable with proper care. Now, the takeaway here is that if the stronger meds don't feel right for you, if you struggle with side effects, well, ask about Saxenda. Steady and supported beats fast and fragile every time. So there you have it. 5 medications, 5 different mechanisms, 5 different ways to get help. But the one constant: you. These medications can't replace your power. They can't rewire your mindset. They can't rebuild your joy or your strength or your purpose. But you can, especially with the right strategy and tools. So before we shift into the next part of today's episode, I want to leave you with something just as important as understanding the medications, and that is how to actually build a plan that supports your whole self. Because whether you're taking GLP-1 drugs or not, you deserve more than just prescriptions and guesswork. You deserve a strategy, one that supports your hormones, your muscles, your energy, your mood, and your mindset. So if you're wondering, where do I even start? Well, here's where I recommend starting. First, when we think about physically, you want strength training that is tailored to your menopause muscle preservation, bone health, and joint safety. Not a 20-something-year-old high-intensity interval training boot camp, right? You want nutritional support that's not restrictive, but hormone aware, fueling your body for energy and symptom relief without cutting calories or obsessive daily weigh-ins. You also want emotional resilience tools because mood swings, anxiety, and confidence dips are real during menopause, and you deserve tools to help manage those as well. But here's the most important piece. Don't choose a plan before you understand what's happening to your body. Foundational menopause education is the key. When you know what's changing in your body and why, when you understand your hormones, your symptoms, your risks, and your options, you stop feeling lost and you stop outsourcing your power. You stop trying everything and seeing nothing work, right? So if you want to move beyond just managing symptoms and you want to start creating real change, again, start with education. For over 2 decades that I've been training and educating, the foundation of transformative success with all of my students, no matter what area that I've worked in, has been four things: to assess, address, adapt, and ascend. Assess where you are now first, mentally, physically, and emotionally, in order to address what needs addressing, right? You have to assess first. I have a quick and free tool that has been the starting point for all the successes that I've had with my clients over the years, and it's been recently updated and is now called the Menopause Readiness Quiz. Again, it's a tool, it's not a test, and it gives you the insights on your level of menopause awareness, keys to symptoms that you may have even overlooked, and if I have any programs that could be of help, it will also share those options based on your quiz responses. Again, it's completely free and it's the first step to better menopause awareness, because when you understand what's happening inside your body, you can make choices that actually support it. Not out of fear, not out of frustration, but a place of strength. Your body is not broken. It is transitioning. And with the right knowledge and support, you can move through this transition with confidence, with clarity, and compassion. Because informed women don't just cope, they lead. And you have every right to feel strong, supported, and fully in charge of your health at every stage. Now, coming up next, I'm going to be sharing something that women aren't warned about. And that's how menopause can actually change your voice and why it matters more than you think. I'm Tawfiq Akir, Mr. Menopause, and you are watching the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV. Stick with me because we've still got more truth, more tools, and more transformation coming your way after this.
Clients are raving about Tawfiq Akhir, widely known as Mr. Menopause, for helping them manage menopause and healthy aging with confidence, grace, and complete autonomy. Don't just take my word for it, listen for yourself.
You don't have flashes, Tawfiq. I don't have hot flashes. That's crazy. Isn't that great?
I have diabetes. My A1C, which is the amount of sugar you have in your blood over a 3-month period, was an 8.6, which is horrible. It's just really, really awful. And so I went to the doctor like a week and a half after the 8-week program, and it was a 5.6. Now that's better than normal people have. My doctor took me off medication. It's just crazy.
I sleep better, absolutely. I have a lot more energy during the day.
I highly recommend it for those who are struggling with weight loss, obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, because my numbers have come down.
My back got lift. I have a little bit of abs
and my arms looks great.
Tawfiq is very motivational. He sends daily emails. He's available if you have any questions.
It's just a great program. Excuse me. He just changed my life. He just gave me a life back that I just didn't think I could have, and I'm so grateful for him.
Feeling inspired? Take the first step to menopause empowerment. Complete the free Menopause Readiness Quiz at menopausereadinessquiz.com to see if one of Tawfiq's programs can help change your life. You deserve support. You deserve to thrive. Complete the quiz today.
Welcome back. I'm Tawfiq Akir, Mr. Menopause here, and you are watching the Mr. Menopause Show broadcasting on Bold Brave TV. Now, we've talked about your weight, what medications are needed, but in this segment, look, I want to switch to something that many people never even mention when you talk about menopause, right? And it's something that is personal, it's powerful, and look, it's something that women only realize is changing after it already has, and that is your voice. Yes, menopause can change your voice, and no, you are not imagining it. And if you've ever felt like your voice isn't what it used to be, if it sounds raspier, weaker, less dependable, or if you've noticed that you're straining more just to be heard, well, this conversation right now is for you, because what's happening is not just vocal. It's also very hormonal. And once you understand it, you can take steps to support, strengthen, and reconnect with that part of yourself again. So, what's actually happening here? Well, here's the truth. Estrogen plays a key role in your vocal health. Just like it supports your skin elasticity, your vaginal tissue, your joints, and your heart, well, estrogen also affects your vocal cords. And your vocal cords, also called vocal folds, are thin muscles that are wrapped in delicate mucosal tissue that vibrate together to produce sound. And when estrogen levels drop in perimenopause and postmenopause, those tissues become thinner, drier, less flexible, and even sometimes inflamed. And you might not even feel it at first, but over time, you might notice that it's harder to project. You may run out of breath faster, your pitch drops, or your tone becomes breathy, hoarse, or just not quite yours. And this is especially common in women who use their voice a lot: teachers, coaches, singers, speakers, therapists, customer service pros, and even moms constantly managing households. And it's not just about your sound. It's about how you feel when you use your voice. And it means like when it starts to feel unfamiliar and you're just not sure how to do things. Well, look, I'll tell you this, the research actually backs it up. Now, the studies from the Journal of Voice and the European Archives of Otorhinolaryngology, where they show that menopausal women experience measurable changes in pitch, especially losing the higher register. Endurance, that means you're getting vocally tired a lot sooner. And then, of course, there's clarity, more breathiness, roughness, and throat tension, and then control. And that includes voice cracking or voice fatigue. One study even found that professional female singers had to change their vocal repertoire during menopause because their range and tone had changed. And that's if they didn't stop singing altogether. And then if that's true for trained vocalists, imagine the impact on everyday women. Leading board meetings, facilitating group discussions, reading bedtime stories, or simply trying to communicate your needs. See, this matters, not just medically and not just functionally, but also emotionally, right? Here's what women are saying. I used to love reading to my grandkids, but now after 10 minutes, my throat aches. Another woman shared, I teach every day. I've always projected well, but now I feel like I'm pushing my voice through mud. Another wrote, I'm a singer and I can't hit the notes that I've been singing for 20 years. I don't feel like myself anymore. These stories are real. And unfortunately, they're very common. Yet so few women are told that this could even happen, and even fewer are taught what they can do about it. And that's what makes this conversation so important, because it's not just about how you speak, right? It's about how you show up. And why does this hit so deep for so many? Well, your voice isn't just sound. It's your power. It's how you advocate. It's how you teach. It's how you connect. It's how you lead, right? It's how you're heard in boardrooms and bedrooms and doctor's offices and in your living rooms. So when your voice starts to falter, it can feel like you're losing your edge, right? Or like you're being muted. Not physically, of course, but emotionally. And during the life stage, when many women are already feeling overlooked, dismissed, or invisible. See, this can feel like one more thing that's trying to silence you. But let me be clear, you are not fading. You are not broken, and you are not losing your voice. You're evolving. And that evolution deserves care, not shame, strategy, not silence. And this it's not just theory, right? It's something that women are living through in real time. In fact, inspirational singer and speaker Nancy Bos shared her menopause story with me, and what she revealed was something that many women don't even realize is connected to hormonal change until it hits them where it hurts the most, their voice. Here's what Nancy had to say.
I use my voice as a speaker and as a singer.
Okay.
And going into this fear, because menopause impacts the singing voice for women.
Mhm.
A lot of women don't realize that. But we know there's some reason why women stop singing in their late 40s. And so knowing that that was coming, I noticed what's called a hormone cliff, which is that my voice changed dramatically over 4 months. And that is potentially career ending for a professional singer.
Now, regardless, if you are a professional singer that uses your voice like Nancy, or a mom, a school teacher, or anyone, just know that you are not alone and your voice is real. And look, there are various ways that happen, things that happen that actually affect and change your voice, right? And Nancy, again, is just one person who showed what was going on. Now, she also shared what she did actually that was specifically working for her. Here's more from Nancy about her symptom relief.
The cool thing for me is that I have with my voice this built-in measurement. I didn't need to test my hormones every week for 4 months to know what was going on, because my voice was doing that for me.
Gotcha.
And so I started taking estrogen and progesterone, and I didn't really have to mess with the doses much. She gave me what they always say is the lowest possible dose, which now, people are talking about maybe you don't have to do the lowest possible dose, but that was actually good enough for me. And I would say within 3-4 weeks, my voice was back to awesome. And I started, that sounds really braggy, but it was awesome.
Now, I love that, and I love her story because Nancy's story, what she didn't wait, right? She didn't wait to be dismissed or ignored. She noticed, she took action, and she took her symptoms seriously and got the help that she needed. And the lesson here isn't about singing, right? It's just about not ignoring the parts of yourself that begin to shift. Your body isn't just a sound, it's feedback, it's a signal. It's a story. And regardless if you look into HRT like Nancy or find another proven treatment option, if you want to know what you can do right now, look, there's good news. You can absolutely start support with natural everyday lifestyle changes. Just like you create fitness plans for your body and nutrition plans for your hormones, you can create a plan that also protects and even rebuilds your vocal strength and stamina, especially when you know what you're working with. Now, here are a few simple, effective ways to start. First, hydrate like it's your job. Vocal cords need lubrication to function. Drink more water than usual, especially in the morning and before any heavy talking parts of your day. Hum for healing. Gentle humming like well, it not only warms up your vocal cords, it stimulates your vagus nerve. And that is the nerve that helps to calm stress, helps to regulate mood, and even improves digestion. 2 minutes of humming in the shower, well, that's like medicine to your body. Next, open your posture. Slouching your shoulders compresses your lungs and throat. So sit tall, breathe from your belly, and let your voice ride on your breath and not ride on tension, right? Next, you want to be mindful of whispering because believe it or not, whispering can strain your voice more than speaking softly. So try to speak in a relaxed, calm tone when possible, like this. Now, if you really rely on your voice for work, for singing, consider seeing a vocal coach or speech language pathologist. You see a trainer for your needs, so your voice deserves that same level of care. Now, here's one thing that you can do starting today that really works. Start your morning with a humming breathing reset. Right after brushing your teeth, you want to sit down comfortably. Now I'm going to have you inhale through your nose, and then when you exhale, you're going to do that sound, like I said, that humming sound, like mm. So you inhale through your nose, and now what's great about this, which it seems like it's not doing much, but actually this actually boosts circulation to your vocal cords. It grounds your breath and it starts your day with presence, not pressure. Do it with me actually, so you can just see how it feels and how simple it is. So again, we're going to inhale gently. Exhale and hum. We're going to do this 5 times. Do it with me. Inhale and inhale and inhale and inhale and one more time. Inhale and now over time, this actually builds vocal strength and emotional calm, both which are deeply needed during menopause. A simple morning humming routine that can have a big impact on your voice. I always tell my clients, sometimes the littlest thing can make the biggest change. Who would know that just going could help to strengthen your voice and calm your stress? Listen, your voice may shift during menopause. Your pitch may lower. Your endurance may change. But you, again, I'm going to keep saying this, you're still powerful. You are still present, and you are absolutely still meant to be heard. This isn't about going back to your old voice either. It's about discovering your new one, a voice that's rooted, that's grounded, that's intentional, and that is confident. So don't shrink. Don't whisper when you want to speak. Don't question your right to be loud, soft, honest, bold, direct, vulnerable, or anything in between, because your voice isn't just how you talk, it's how you lead. It's how you heal. It's how you show up in the world saying, this is who I am, and I am here, and I'm not going anywhere. Now, the takeaway that I hope that you get from this double feature episode today is this. Whether your weight, whether it's your voice, whether it's your energy, whether it's your sense of identity, menopause doesn't take anything from you. It may shake things up. It may expose what's been hidden, what's silenced or neglected, but at its core, menopause is not about loss. Ladies, it's an invitation to come home to yourself, to ask better questions, to stop settling for outdated answers, to stop shrinking, dimming, or disappearing. Because here's the truth. What you're going through is not weakness. It is actually wisdom in motion, because your body is actually saying to you, let's do things differently now. Not because you're broken, not because something is ending, but because it's time to evolve, just like every other stage of life. Midlife isn't a slow fade, it's a reawakening. And this chapter, this is one where you get to rewrite the rules. You get to define what strength feels like in this new body. You get to speak with a voice that carries lived experience and not just volume. You get to be the most informed, intuitive, and impactful version of yourself because of the menopause transition, not in spite of it. And no, you don't need all the answers right now. You don't need to fix everything right now, but you do deserve to start from a place of understanding, a place where your choices are guided by clarity, not confusion, where your care is rooted in knowledge, not judgment, where your power is present, not postponed. So take the time to learn. Listen to what your body is asking for and honor it and carry that out. And decide what you are no longer going to hold on to, because you're not falling apart, you are falling into alignment. And there is more joy, health, and vitality ahead, and more than you've been led to believe is. So take a deep breath for me. Deep breath. Now, take your space. And finally, take the lead, because you deserve it. And by now, look, I hope that you can see that the Mr. Menopause Show truly is your go-to source for reliable menopause and healthy aging support, providing the tools, the resources, and support that you've been looking for and unable to find. And I look forward to being a trusted guide and ally throughout your menopause journey and beyond. And after this next break, don't go anywhere, because we are heading into one of the most personal parts of the show that I believe, and it is Ask Mr. Menopause. I'm going to be answering your questions about menopause, midlife health, hormones, and more. You can call in or you can type your question. And look, you're going to get the answers that you've been searching for all in one place in real time if you're on with me live. Otherwise, you can leave your message here, or you can go to Ask Mr. Menopause and leave your question there. I may answer your question in a future episode. So stick around, because we're just getting started, and Ask Mr. Menopause is coming up next.
Take a moment to subscribe for expert tips, real talk, and no fluff support. Brought to you by Mr. Menopause himself, Tafik Akhir, a certified award-winning menopause strategist, best-selling author, speaker, and the host of the Mr. Menopause Show, streaming weekly on Bold Brave TV. Have you subscribed yet?
Hey there, it's Tafik Akir, Mr. Menopause again, your certified and award-winning menopause and healthy aging strategist. You are watching the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV, and it's time for Ask Mr. Menopause. Now, if you are listening live or watching live and you have a question, please call in. The number's on the screen, and I'm happy to help you if I can. And while we wait for calls to come in, I'm going to answer some of the questions that actually prompted me to even write this episode to begin with. And you never know, I may answer the question that you may have already. So listen, so whether you're navigating hot flashes, stubborn weight gain, or surprise symptoms that nobody actually warned you about, like sudden voice changes, well, I want you to know I've got you. So let's talk about two topics, right? Now, I get asked questions all the time, either in my DMs or through email. And GLP-1 weight loss drugs are some of the ones that I get questions about a lot, especially since they're so hot right now, right? And then, of course, I've interviewed people in the past that have talked about voice, and then I've had a few people that responded with questions after those episodes as well. So I'm going to go to my first question that I get about GLP-1s, and that is, how long do I have to stay on a GLP-1 medication? Well, look, the truth here is that these drugs are usually long-term, right? Because obesity and hormone-related weight gain aren't one and done type of issues, right? So if you stop taking the medication, the weight often does come back because the root causes weren't actually addressed. So if you are using GLP-1s, think of them as one part of the bigger picture that should always include nutrition, movement, and stress management. Now, the next best steps that I recommend is to start building your lifestyle foundation today, right? And if you're not sure where to begin, again, you just saw earlier, take my free Menopause Readiness Quiz. And if there is a solution there that I have that can help, it will share that based on your results. And look, if not me, I recommend the Menopause Society or the Menopause Experts Group, both highly reputable menopause resources. Another question that I got was, do weight loss drugs even work for women in menopause? And the answer is yes, and they actually work quite well. In fact, women in perimenopause and postmenopause can see up to 20% weight loss with these meds when they're paired with lifestyle changes. But I always remind my clients a quick fix isn't the same as a sustainable solution, right? So my recommendations for next steps here is to take a few minutes and look, reflect on what feels the most challenging to you right now, right? What feels the most challenging, whether it's sleep, whether it's mood, whether it's energy or weight. Write it down, because clarity is the first step to creating meaningful change. And then once you realize what that is, then you want to focus on that one thing first, and then the rest of the things will start to fall into place. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Start with one thing at a time. Now I'm going to come on to see if we have any live questions. All right. All right, no questions at this time. So I'm just going to keep answering the questions that I got actually sent in. So another GLP-1 question that I got is, are there any side effects that I should worry about? So of course, I talked about some of these earlier, and definitely some to be aware of. The most common, of course, are nausea and GI issues. But for women over 40, you also have to watch for things like thinning hair, muscle loss, and thyroid concerns. And that's why I always say these meds are not magic. They need to be paired with a strong foundation of wellness habits, and ideally monitored by someone who understands midlife health. So the next best step that I recommend is that if you are on GLP-1 weight loss drugs, or if you're considering it, book a wellness review session with a menopause aware or certified provider, or reach out to me for guidance on what to ask your doctor, because you want to make sure that you're getting the actual support that you need. And then the last GLP-1 question that I'm going to share today is, can I skip the diet and exercise part if I'm on GLP-1s? No. I wish I could tell you yes, but look, that would just be a lie. You still need to fuel your body properly, build strength, manage stress, and sleep well, right? The medication might jumpstart the journey, but the habits are what keep you thriving long term. So the next best steps I actually recommend is, look, commit to a 15-minute strength or movement workout today that you may have not started before, right? And if it's not the strength training and movement, try to find something else, a diet change that you can make that's going to be simple. Again, if it's challenging or difficult for you to implement, it's never going to be something that you can sustain. And I always say, start with a 10-minute workout. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour. Start with 10. The stronger you get with that, then you can move up to 15. But again, the whole thing, though, most important thing here is that you start, right? And if you're open to online programs, again, if you go to my website, mrmenopause.com, I have Mr. Menopause approved options on my website of different programs that you can do online. And that's mrmenopause.com. Going to check for questions again now. Nothing as of yet. Okay, look, so I've covered some of the GLP-1s. So I'm going to shift over to the symptom that rarely gets talked about, right? We talked about it earlier, and that is your voice. And again, inspired by some of the questions that I got. And the first one that I received about the voice and menopause was shared by a lady by the name of Sharon. Sharon from Chicago. Hello, Sharon from Chicago. Thank you for sending this in. And the question is, why is my voice weaker and more hoarse since menopause started? Well, okay, Sharon. So hormonal shifts, especially lower estrogen, can affect the health of your vocal cords. You might sound raspier, feel like your voice tires easily, or notice the similar vocal range is no longer what it was, right? Or weaker, I should say. Or even like, what's the word I want to use? I'm sorry, a smaller, right? A smaller vocal range. And let me just tell you, you're not imagining it. And most importantly, you're not alone. And the next best steps that I would recommend is track when the changes happen the most. Is it later in the day? Is it after poor sleep? And use that info to start adjusting your hydration, your rest, and even what you eat. Track your progress over several weeks. Do more of the things that help to relieve the symptoms, and of course do less of the things that seem to aggravate the symptoms, right? And that's just the things that you want to do at the beginning to start to get some relief. Now, another question that I got about the voice was, I used to hit high notes with ease. Now I struggle. Is that normal? Again, yes. And specifically, if you're a singer, a teacher, a speaker, or just someone who uses your voice a lot, your vocal folds thin out and dry as estrogen drops. So your high notes, they can be MIA. But don't worry, there are ways to support and strengthen your voice, again, like I've been saying. Next best step for you is add vocal warm-ups to your daily routine, even if you're not a performer. Gentle humming, like I shared earlier, or there's also a technique that is called straw phonation, which can do wonders for vocal cord health. You can find a vocal humming or a straw phonation routine on YouTube, or hire a professional vocal coach and ask them to guide you on a vocal warm-up routine specifically for vocal health and longevity. All right, I'm going to check questions one more time. All right, just one more question comes from Kim. And Kim asked me, what can I do about this menopause voice of mine? Well, Kim, you need to hydrate. Hydrate like it's your job. Also, make sure that you get enough protein, rest your voice, and avoid irritants like smoke. Next best step, vocal changes affect your quality of life. Talk to a voice therapist, or even explore whether HRT might help. Every woman's journey is unique, but solutions do exist, right? All right, doesn't look like we have any questions, and that's it for today's segment of Ask Mr. Menopause, where we tackled two very real, very under-discussed topics: GLP-1 weight loss drugs and surprising impacts of menopause on your voice. And whether you're navigating medications, managing symptoms, or just trying to make sense of what's happening to your body, remember this: you deserve real answers, not dismissals. You deserve to be supported, not silenced. You deserve to thrive, not just survive through every stage of menopause. And if today's questions got you thinking, keep going. Keep asking, keep advocating. This journey is personal, but it doesn't have to be lonely. And if you didn't get your question answered today, don't worry. I'm here every week with more tips, tools, and real talk to help you take back control of your body, your voice, and your vitality. Until next time, please stay safe and be well.
That's it for today's episode of the Mr. Menopause Show. What you've heard today isn't just information, it's empowerment. A reminder to question the hype, reclaim your voice, and walk through this chapter with strength, strategy, and self-respect. Remember what Tawfiq says: your weight doesn't define you, your changing voice doesn't silence you. And this season, it's about taking the mic and owning the moment. Catch brand new episodes of the Mr. Menopause Show every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Bold Brave TV. And next week, Tawfiq reveals the 5 mistakes not to make during menopause, plus a Nutrition 101 for Menopause Masterclass, unpacking the power of micronutrients to help you feel your best. Don't miss it.